What's going on, everybody? It's Brandon here. Basically, what I'm here to tell you today is how to escape the rat race. I know everybody wants to do this. This is something that I myself have wanted to do for the longest time. I still feel like I'm a little bit in there, but I'm a step of the way out. So if you follow my few simple rules that I'm going to speak to you guys about in just a second, I'm hoping that this can help you guys escape the rat race. Let's get it. So basically, everybody, what if I told you that by just investing $100 a month from the time you're 20 until the time you retire, you'd have over $250,000 and you'd have to do nothing else but just set it and forget it. So basically, that's how compounding interest works. And that's number one thing that I'm going to talk about today. But before I get into that, I want to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, is invest in yourself. So that sounds a little bit cliche, but let me explain before you go crazy. The number one reason why I say investing in yourself is the most important thing that you could possibly do, especially when you don't have a lot of capital, is because you're going to take the little bit of skill and knowledge you have and you're going to capitalize on what you know to make more money. So basically, how you're going to start is you're going to sit down and you're going to think about all the skills you have. And this could be something that you've gotten over the years. This could be something you learned in school, or just even what your interests or hobbies are. You're going to take that information and you're going to find a way to monetize it. Whether or not it's going to be doing writing online, whether or not you just have a job, a 9 to 5 that you can utilize to do your writing, anything. Whether you know photos, you can be hired as a photographer, a video editor. You could even get hired as someone who edits videos on YouTube. It's simple, but you need to take the one skill you know and start building on that one thing first. Now, if you're sitting there and thinking, I don't really have any special skills or anything, that's fine. What you now need to do is make a quick list of all things that you're interested in. Take all those interests and now find out what you want to learn more about. You can find all the free information you need from YouTube. You can go to the library and get books to find out what you want to do. Another thing that you can do is you can find someone that's doing exactly what you want to do and mirror them. Ask them for a mentorship. Go and ask and see if there's any opportunities in the business that they have. Maybe they can hire you part-time. You can learn. And in that learning, you can determine whether or not you even want to do that to begin with. So kind of get out there, feel everything, taste everything, find out what you're really interested in, and then get to the next step. Now, the first step, like I said, was essentially taking a skill that you already have or that you want to learn and then capitalizing on it. Take it, learn it, make money from it. Now, step number 2 is you've taken that skill, you've made money, and now you have to start investing that money. Next, you need to take advantage of any sort of investing that your job, your 9 to 5, or any sort of asset you already have available to you, and do that first. That means your 401ks, your Roth IRAs, things that your companies may match and give you an extra a little bit of money or already handle the investing for you. So what I mean by that is before you start investing on your own or doing any of that, I think what you should do is try to max out that IRA and that 401k. Now, with that being said, your 401k has a match at most companies, whether it be 2%, 3%, 5%. I've seen up to 8% match. What that means is if you put up a certain amount of money, your company will match you up to that percentage. So the higher the percentage they match, the more money you can put in, and they will match exactly what you offer and put into that 401. So it's basically like a 5%, 6%, 8% bonus that you would not have seen any other way. So if you invest in that, you automatically get that free money. It is a no-brainer. Now it's time for step number 3 is to start investing on your own. So what you want to do at step number 3 is you want to open up a brokerage account. Because if you have all this money sitting around and you want to start investing, but you just don't know where or know how, you want to open up that brokerage account. There are many different types of brokerages. I know some of them a little bit more commercial, some of the ones you may have heard before. You have Robinhood, you have TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim, you have Webull. Some of the ones that are a little bit on the upper level that you may not have heard of, Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, like I've already mentioned before, Vanguard, Interactive Brokers. These are all different types of brokerages that you could use. Some of them are a little better than others, but some of them have different benefits, whether or not they offer free trading, which most at this point, day and age, will. This is 2022. Now, another type of investing, if you're someone that does not want to have any involvement in it, you could also use an investment tool called Acorns. This is where they kind of roll over your spare change. You could also add one time a month investments, or you could do roll-ups or multipliers that will kind of invest your spare change and then multiply it by a 5 or a 10. And that's kind of like a hands-off investing, which is not bad, especially if you're someone who's not going to do it, because having any type of investment is better than having no investment. Now, we've finished step number 3. Once again, we've found our money. We've now invested in the IRAs and the 401ks. We have also opened up our brokerage account. So now where do we go from here? Step number 4. This is where you decide what you're going to invest in. I urge everyone to do your own research because investing your money is definitely a scary thing to do. So you want to make sure you do a little bit of research on where you're going to put your money. I definitely advise if you are a new investor and you're just getting started, you've just opened your brokerage account, to not invest in individual stocks to start. Individual stocks can have a huge yield and a huge upside, but they also are a lot riskier and can have a bigger downside. Now, if you're going to do any individual stocks, I would definitely recommend doing ones that people have heard of before, the Apples, the Microsofts, anything along those lines can be safer, but I would 100% recommend investing in ETFs to begin. Now, an ETF is basically a collaboration of all the different stocks combined into one piece. Now, an ETF can follow the market, and an ETF can follow international markets. It can follow tech stocks. It can follow anything. There is essentially an ETF for every type of person who wants to invest. What essentially you're going to do is you're going to pick an ETF. They trade exactly like stocks, so there's no other fees that are associated with it. And you can buy and sell at any point. You can do fractional shares in majority of the brokerages. So what you want to do is you want to find your ETF, buy those ETFs that you're interested in, and then hold them. And then just keep them there. Do not sell, and just continuously buy. Because that brings us to our next and final step, which is step number 5, which is the set it and forget it. What you're essentially going to do at this point is you're going to buy those ETFs, you're going to buy the stocks that you want to hold, and you're just going to hold them. Every month, you're going to keep buying down. So you keep setting that same amount and you keep buying down. If you have a little bit extra money at the end of this month versus last, throw a little bit extra money, and that's not a problem at all. But what you want to avoid is you want to avoid continuously over trading. Because once you start trading too much, that's no longer investing, that's trading. And that goes into people that are doing the options. And that's definitely a lot riskier. I myself have done options in the past. I'm not a huge advocate on it because it is a little bit riskier unless you're someone that can sit there all day, watch the charts, watch the stocks, get up earlier before the market opens, and kind of study that. I would not recommend doing options, especially for beginners. That is a good way to blow your account and lose all of your initial investment. Like I said, step number 5 is to set it and forget it, but that also builds onto the compounding interest. Compounding interest is going to take that initial investment and those small incremental investments over a few years, and it's going to completely maximize and change the total amount of investment you could have. So let's sit down here for a second and look at a few examples. So if you were doing a 7% annual return, you invested $100 a month from the age of 20. By the time you were 59 and a half years old, at $100 a month, you would have $265,702. And that's only with investing $48,100 over those years. Now, if we double that to $200 a month, that final number goes up to $529,771 with only $96,100 invested. Now, the sky is the limit when it comes to compounding interest. The more you put down and the earlier you put that down is going to completely and drastically change what your outcome is going to be. Now, if you were able to put $500 invested per month, your total is going to be $1.3 million. And if you do $1,000 per month at this same age over the same time span, your total number is going to be $2.6 million with only $480,000 invested over those years from the time you're 20 until the time you retire. Now, this number can greatly differentiate depending on how the market does, but like I said, the average annual return is 7%. But however, the S&P 500, which is the broad average of the market, will always outperform the average investor. I know Graham Stephan just did a video recently where he documented the average a day trader or an average a person who picks their own stocks does over a year-to-year basis. And after the first year or two, the percentages are pretty easy. It's about a 50% that the average investor who picks their own stocks will make it over the S&P. But every year after that, that number drastically decreases to the point where I think he said at a 10-year mark, that person to beat the S&P 500 was a 0.00001% chance that a person who picks their stocks day in and day out will beat the S&P 500 on a 10-year return. So that being said, it's kind of a no-brainer. Set that money, forget about it, dollar cost average, and essentially what that means is you're taking the average cost of what the market is, because there are going to be years where that market goes down. And when you see the market going down, keep that investment going. Do not pull it out. And then over the years, your money is going to grow to an exponential number and you will be set. So once again, my final thoughts for this video, I'm just going to recap those 5 steps one more time. Number one is invest in yourself. Take that money that you have up front and find skills that you can learn to make more money. Step number two, take advantage of the investing that you have at your job or at your school or anything that you're doing internships, and make sure you at least put in the match that you're getting from those companies in your 401 or IRA. Step number three is acquiring the funds and start investing, so you have to open up your brokerage account. Step number four is find out what you want to invest in. I recommend doing ETFs to start off. And then step number five is setting it and forgetting it. You put it in, let compound interest do the work. Let the S&P and the United States market grow on its own. You will not be sorry. I promise you. Because remember, guys, you were never younger than you are today. Please do not wait to start. Starting now is better. Do not look back and say, oh my God, I'm 30. Oh my God, I'm 40. Oh my God, I'm 45 years old. Start now so that by the time you are 30, 35, 40, 45, you already have that nest egg built up. You could always put more money in as you go. As your income increases, you can invest more, and that compounding interest will go even greater than what I've explained in this example. And then also, time is your friend. The earlier you get in, the earlier it will be that you can retire and live the rest of your life however you want and escape that rat race. So once again, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. Click on this side or this side. I'm not sure yet for my next video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.